The Menu, directed by Mark Mylod, is a pretty great movie. I would recommend watching it for those who haven't yet, but if you don't want to watch it, I'll just give you a quick summary. The main character, Margot, goes off with her date, Tyler, to a deserted island where they were invited by an extremely famous chef. This event is actually very private, and only people who are part of a higher class and who have a connection to the chef himself are invited to it. And at first, they simply believe that this invitation is an opportunity for the chef to show off some new recipes. However, as the night goes on, it becomes pretty clear that the chef himself has lost his mind and has begun to implement his recipes and dishes with an element of life and death. And I mean that very literally. The entire event is designed in a way where the chef is essentially showing off his new menu, and with every new entry it becomes far more dangerous. For example, one of the first dishes does involve a man taking his own life, but it's more than just that. Yes, most of the dishes are involved with murder. However, there are some that are simply just jabs at the clients themselves, where the chef essentially expresses how much their existence and their careers have tainted and ruined his life in many ways. And from here, the movie does one of my favorite things. It crafts its horror based on its mystery. The main way it does this is by utilizing its mystery to build on its suspense. This trick is something that I notice a lot of in other mystery movies. When a horror story explains everything that's happening completely, it essentially removes a large part of the suspense since the audience now knows what to expect. However, when they're left in the dark, all they have to go off of is their own imagination to explain what's happening. Which, as I think we can all relate to, when you let your imagination run wild, it tends to create elaborate situations that are far more frightening than the actual reality of it. This is a very common trick, and in my opinion has been used in other movies in far more accurate ways. A more recent example that comes to mind is Midsommar, and I'm going to leave it at that because if you enjoyed The Menu, there's a very high chance you're going to enjoy Midsommar. As I was saying, The Menu seems to utilize its mystery to enhance its suspense. And what all this suspense seems to build up to is the slow realization that this chef is here to kill them. And what's so fascinating about this realization is the way in which it's utilized in contrast with the 5 stages of grief. For those who don't know, the 5 stages of grief is a model developed by Swiss-American psychiatrist Elisabeth Kubler-Ross in her book, Death and Dying. This model is used to explain the several stages that someone goes through when experiencing loss. Now, I want to make it clear that this is not a definitive map of human experience. Every person tends to go through loss in their own specific way. However, this model is used time and time again because it tends to capture the experience of loss in the most accurate way. What makes this so interesting is, instead of the clients having to experience the loss of someone else, they instead need to come to terms with their own. And as they go through these 5 stages, the suspense only builds. All this begins in stage 1, denial, where even after watching a man take his own life right in front of them, many clients still don't believe any of this is real. And then there is stage 2, anger. Once they realize what they witnessed was in fact real, many clients get very upset, and in their anger, they simply decide to leave. However, they quickly realize that that isn't an option. In stage 3, they tried to bargain with him the only way elites know how. However, after watching him murder one of his biggest benefactors, they realize money won't help them. It's in the last 2 stages that the suspense of the movie is at its peak. However, things quickly change in the next step, depression. After one final botched escape attempt, the mystery of the menu disappears and it becomes very clear what's about to happen next. In the final stage, acceptance, no one seems that upset anymore. They've all seemed to have come to terms with what's about to happen and decided to simply go out as peacefully as possible. In the end, what makes this movie so effective is the way in which every element seems to build on top of the other. From the 5 stages, to suspense, to mystery, all these elements work together to enhance the experience, which, in the end, helps to create truly effective horror. Thanks for watching.